Hello, everyone, and welcome to NaNoWriMo with Harris County Public Library and the HCPL Rights team. We are very excited to help you reach your NaNoWriMo word count today with a virtual write-in. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm the Assistant Manager in charge of adult programs at the Catherine Tyra Branch Library at Bear Creek.
And I'm Logan. I'm part of the mobile outreach team for Harris County Public Libraries. We're excited to have you here with us today. We'll be getting started soon with some prompts that will hopefully be fun and get those creative juices flowing. As you write today, you can either use a story you're already working on or just try the prompt with whatever pops into your head.
Yeah, that's right. And let's find out more about who's joining us today for our virtual write-in. So if you're here for our virtual write-in today, take a moment to let us know where you're chatting with us from. And you can even tell us the writing project that you are currently working on.
And then while people are typing, just a little bit more background for those of us who are joining and aren't familiar with NaNoWriMo. Every November, writers around the world challenge themselves to write an entire novel or work of 50,000 words in 1 month. Today's virtual write-in is a way of supporting those writers.
Yeah, NaNoWriMo is pretty intimidating, but it's a lot of fun. And this is the second year that we're kind of supporting everyone as they try to reach the word count. So we love seeing our library patrons pursue their writing goals with us.
For sure. And then, Elizabeth, I'm not sure what you're working on, so could you tell us a little bit about the novel you're finishing or continuing?
Yeah, so I'm going to be perfectly honest with y'all. I am not a writer. If writing research papers was a thing, I always liked that way more. I was the weird kid who liked writing the research papers. So I don't have a novel that I'm working on, but as a librarian, I love reading novels. So I love supporting writers and making sure the library has lots of resources, programs to support all the writers out there. So I love doing this. I write along and kind of do a little bit of flash fiction as we do these write-ins, but I love seeing what other people are working on and encouraging them. So in that vein, Logan, what are you working on writing right now?
I am working on a collection of short stories, a good blend of like horror and like fantasy sci-fi, but primarily like horror.
Very nice. Is it really scary horror or is it?
I would say more psychological. Yeah, psychological. I talked about it a little bit last week too.
Very nice. I like it, kind of a Hitchcock vibe. That's always what I like. Psychological horror thriller in there.
We've got 2 commenters. Jordan is writing from NC, like North Carolina,
Wow.
and they're working on a fantasy mystery story. Awesome.
Ooh, fantasy mystery. You'll have to tell us more about that, Jordan. That sounds like a fun genre.
Yeah. And then Taylor Ray says, oh, wait. Okay. Sorry. Taylor and Brooke are ready for today's write in.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have Taylor, Brooke, and Jordan here for the write-in. And on that note, I think it's a good time to go ahead and look at getting started with our first writing sprint. So the way this is going to work is you're going to use the prompt that comes up on the screen. You can use characters that you're already working on in your own story, or you can make up all new characters and situations for these sprints. Just basically write anything that comes to your mind. Don't let your inner editor take over. Just write, get it out there. We're going to have a 7-minute sprint. And at the end of 7 minutes, we'll talk about what we wrote. And you can share your word count with us or even share what you wrote with us and we'll read it out. We love to see what people are working on. So I think our first sprint was pulled up there for a bit. Logan, would you like to introduce our first writing prompt for everybody?
Yes. So our first writing prompt is based off of the phrase or sentence, I have a plan. So you're going to take that and you can add it into your story, or if it's not really fitting with where you are, you can write a separate story or maybe plan a little bit ahead and use the characters in your story to write a scene.
Hey, awesome. We'll see everybody in 7 minutes. All right, welcome back, everyone. We hope you had a fun time writing with the prompt. Please feel free to share in the comments. You can tell us how many words you wrote, share a line or two, a whole paragraph of what you wrote. Even share more about what kind of writing you're doing today.
Oh, I zoned out personally. Like I got so into it. I completely forgot about the timer.
So that's awesome, though. What did you write, Logan?
That was actually the phrase that we have is actually a great segue for a part that I've been trying to write in one of my stories.
Mhm.
So I kind of modified it a bit. Basically, the main character of the story is kind of at a crossroads, and they're trying to get out of a situation, and things are not going well. Keep it at that.
Do they have a plan, though?
Yes, they do, but some people might get in the way of that.
Yeah.
Jordan wrote 207 words. I need to go back and count. I have no idea
Wow.
how much I wrote.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to share, a sentence or two you want to share from your writing?
I wrote 179, which is a lot more than I expected, actually.
Oh, I see. Oh, Jordan wrote 207 words.
Yes.
Oh, way to go, Jordan. Awesome. And Jordan, feel free to share a sentence or two if you want of what you wrote today. I only got 91 words. I could see where, like I said, I kind of do a little bit of flash fiction in these, and I could see where I wanted the story to go, but I just couldn't find the words after the first few sentences. I feel like it was a movie in my brain, but the words for exactly what happened next just weren't coming. But I liked where I got on it, which was nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to read Jordan's?
Sure. Yeah. It looks like Jordan posted a sentence or two, a few sentences. Thank you for doing that, Jordan. Kara was out of her depth, following a mark, breaking and entering, stealing. All of these were things she was familiar with. Trying to solve a mystery concerning a deadly illness, not a clue. And Jordan says she does not have a plan currently. Oh, I like how you twisted it on its head, thought about planning, and was like, ooh, my character's not there yet. Maybe that'll come.
Okay. I think I didn't even really think about manipulating it that much, so I think that's great, Jordan. Yeah, I was actually kind of worried that I wouldn't be able to integrate these prompts, but I proved myself wrong. And
Yeah.
Jordan did a great job with that.
Absolutely. And that's what they're there for, to whether or not you use exactly the prompt or it gets something else flowing. That's what we want, is to get that word count going for NaNoWriMo.
And our other friends who are watching, Taylor wrote 95 words and Brooke wrote 83. That's awesome.
Awesome. Very nice, guys. And feel free to share if you have a little bit of your writing you want to share. We're always happy to hear that.
We can probably move on to our next slide as we kind of discuss. All right. So I think this is where I'm going to have to like twist this one a little bit, but it'll be a nice challenge. Also, I apologize. My cat, of course, is being the most mischievous. So if there's any background noise, that is thanks to him. Okay, so this next prompt is integrating a beach scene, or if you don't necessarily want to integrate the beach, maybe channel in some of the emotions or feelings that you get while you're on the beach. Not everybody likes the beach. I'm actually not a beach person. So, yeah, I don't know. What about you, Elizabeth? Are you a beach person?
Not really, but this picture with the abandoned shoes, I felt like there's a lot of places it could go, or
Yeah.
the shoes left there for something fun, something sinister.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Take the idea of even just water or abandoned shoes and roll with it in your story. And same thing. Everybody will have 7 minutes to work on a prompt inspired by this picture.
I'm ready to go.
Okay, and we're back. So, everyone, tell us what you wrote. Tell us your word count, how many words you got down, and we love it when you share a sentence or two or more from the writing that you've been doing. Logan, was this one? Did you flow as well on this one?
Yeah, I just took the element of water, similar to Jordan.
Mhm.
They commented that they're more of a mountain person, but wanted to incorporate water into their scene. And I also did that by just adding um, like a tea kettle to the scene, which actually helps build the tension that's already happening between the characters.
Very nice. Is it kind of like a countdown as the water boils?
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
I like it. Very creative way to incorporate the idea of water from the picture into your story.
I gotta see. I don't think I added as much compared to earlier. Let me see. Uh huh. Oh,
Um,
okay. 148.
yeah, 148. That's awesome. Um, I did like a completely different story this time, and I really like the idea of, like I said, the kind of abandoned shoes on the beach and where do they come from, and kind of wrote a little story thinking like, there's people shipwrecked on an island. They're Somebody's walking along and they see these abandoned flip-flops with some like a path leading to them, some footprints, and they're like, "Wait a second, am I alone on this island, or is there
Yeah.
somebody else? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?" And
Hmm.
kind of where I was thinking,
Sounds
that's
mysterious.
yeah. I know that's how I wanted to take a kind of a happy picture and make it a little bit sinister.
Wow. Hmm. I guess too there is a bit of a trend like with Midsommar trying to do like horror in the daylight.
Mhm.
Think that it definitely has some untapped potential.
Yeah, could be a lot of fun, maybe a little bit more realistic too. And it looks like Jordan did 195 words, which is awesome.
Mhm.
And she was finishing her thought and got to the bit by the water, which is great. You made it.
So we had Taylor, who wrote that sequel story overhead as the waves hum against the sand. The sun shines a blanket of rays onto each speck. The smell of salt and sunscreen coat the breeze as it touches my face. A perfect day. And she also wrote 97 words, and that the little part I just read was just a bit. That was super descriptive. I liked the imagery a lot.
I could feel it. I could just, I could feel that sunscreen. I liked it. It did feel like a beach day. And it looks like Brooke wrote 98 words, which is awesome. Yay, go Brooke as well. Okay, well, I liked all the different takes that people had on it, from a tea kettle to water to a beach day to a little bit more sinister. There's a lot of different directions people went from just a simple picture, which is very fun to see.
All right, I think we're ready for our next prompt.
Yeah. This prompt is inspired by a quote from Benjamin Franklin: "Early to bed and early to rise." Think of what your character would do in an early morning scene. Are they a grump? Are they one of those people who have done 12 things by the time 6 a.m. rolls around? What is your character like in the morning? Write us an early morning scene.
All right, I'm ready when everyone else is.
Perfect. 7 minutes. Once again, we'll see y'all back here in just a bit. Hello and welcome back again from this writing prompt. If you want, share with us in the comments your word count, and please share with us a little bit of your writing. We love hearing what you wrote during the write-in. Logan, how did your writing go?
I had to go and check on my cat, so I lost a little bit of time. He's just needy. It went pretty well. I again kind of lucked out, and there's like a transition that I wanted to make a little bit later in the story. That's like the next day, but I was kind of bogged down writing the stuff that happens before the next day that I didn't get to. I didn't get to the prompt technically, but still pretty happy with what I wrote.
Yeah. What would your character be like in an early morning scene? Are they a morning person or?
She the the story, the kind of stuff that she's going through is a little bit traumatic. So I think typically she is pretty hardworking. So she would be a pretty like a great morning person, but in this situation she's kind of stuck in bed after some stuff that happens.
Okay, sounds interesting. Um, for me, I think I did 165 words. I basically just did an autobiography of I don't know what I'm like in the mornings, which I am
Oh.
not a morning person. Um, I always think like, the people who say they graduate college, become adults, and suddenly they can't sleep in past 6 or 7. I'm like, no, how are you living life like that? So I just kind of wrote a story about what it feels like to sleep in on a Saturday when you don't have anything to do, wake up about 10 a.m. Hopefully somebody's making breakfast and you kind of smell it and just wait for it to be brought to you, and kind of an ideal morning. So I think I would write a character like that. Like I said, mine was kind of an autobiography, but we need adults who are willing to sleep in. They don't just naturally wake up at 6 a.m. I
Oh
hate
yeah, for
that.
sure. I I think I know maybe one person who gets up pretty early, but it's more out of necessity than it is out of choice. And yeah, I know some days I have earlier shifts, so I have to get up,
Mhm.
but oh my gosh, it's a slog. I have to like set my alarm at least 30 minutes before I need to like actually get moving.
Mhm.
Because if I were to like wake up right when I needed to, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
We have Jordan back on YouTube, who wrote 146 words that time. No morning scenes, though I guess it is about 3 a.m. in my novel currently. And then, second comment, neither of the current characters I'm writing are morning people, so probably pretty grumpy if woken up. I can very much relate to them.
I like that, Jordan. We need more people like that in books.
Yes, for
And
sure.
3 a.m. counts. That's very early morning. What are they doing at 3 a.m. too? That's
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on in your book at 3 a.m. that your characters are up.
Me too. Taylor apparently is the person that gets up at 6 a.m. even on a Saturday. I don't know how you do that.
Oh, I
I
don't
cannot.
understand.
I
But
cannot do
Taylor, you
that.
wrote 107 words and 69 words for Brooke. So that is awesome. Very nice.
My gosh. Taylor goes to bed at 8. My
Oh man.
goodness.
No wonder Jordan. If that's the time we have to go to wake up at 6 a.m. Jordan. No wonder your characters are grumpy if woken up. They're still
Oh,
awake and it's 3 a.m.
yeah, that was Taylor, not Jordan. Sorry, I
Oh
might have
yeah, yeah. I'm
misspoke.
saying if you have to go to bed at 8 to wake up at 6, no wonder Jordan's characters are grumpy when they wake up in the morning. They're still up at 3 a.m.
That's fair. All right. So far, these sprints are working out really well. I wrote almost 150 words again that time.
Nice. I know everybody's been doing at least 50 words, but a lot of around 100, which is very good.
I think I am so used to writing academic papers that like I can just go. But the in between time that it takes for me to think most of the time is just like, what do I want to happen next?
That's what these write-ins are about. Just sit down and just go. Just make your brain go.
Awesome. All right, I think we're ready for our next one.
Absolutely. So this one's a little bit more of a funny one too. So I was thinking, what happens? An abandoned puppy, an abandoned dog wanders into the scene. What happens next? How do people react? Does the dog wander off again or become a part of the story? It's a good chance to think. If you don't want to do this, maybe just put some kind of animal in your story, whatever you're writing, and show us what happens when there's an animal in your story.
This one might be the one where I'm doing more thinking than writing, but I think that's okay.
That's okay. But we'll do as much writing as we can in 7 minutes before we see everybody back.
See you soon.
Bye. Hello and welcome back again. Before we get into talking about this writing prompt, I saw we had a question on YouTube from Words Fall Writes asking when this started. So I just wanted to welcome anybody who's joining us. We started at 6 o'clock with this NaNoWriMo write-in live stream, and we've been doing writing prompts that last 7 minutes to help get your creative juices flowing as you write for NaNoWriMo. But you should be able to go back and watch the entire video program again if you'd like on YouTube and the Harris County Public Library Facebook page. So if you missed the beginning, you want to use our write-in prompts, you can always go back and watch the video later.
Did you write a scene with the puppy or a different animal, Elizabeth?
I did. I got 181 words, and I actually used an old dog. So I kind of went back to the first prompt that we had. I was inspired by the Western world of Amy Campbell, who is one of our coworkers, who's also an author, and she writes kind of Western fantasies. And I had written about a kind of a shootout in a Western town, and the guy said, "I have a plan," and kind of went back to that world. And I'm like, what if in the middle of a shootout, this old, deaf, mangy mutt that everybody knows because he begs for scraps at the saloon just kind of wanders into the middle of it? You know, a dog living in a Western town is used to shootouts. And what if that kind of causes all the rivals to go, oh, let's just kind of stop. What were we fighting about anyway? Let's not hurt the dog. Let's just, kind of stop. And so I thought that would be kind of funny if this old mangy mutt just wanders into the middle of a gun battle and kind of makes everybody go, oh, what are we really fighting about anyway? Let's just stop it.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
What about you, Logan? Were you able to incorporate some kind of animal into your writing?
I had an idea of where I wanted to incorporate the prompt, but I got caught up in kind of the in-between bits again. I don't know. I finally got to a really great point in one of the prompts that we did. So I'm kind of like going off of that a little bit more.
Which one sparked your writing creative juices so much?
Both the water prompt and the morning prompt, because these are kind of like seeds of scenes I've been wanting to write, but just didn't really know where to start. So they kind of gave me like a good jumping off point to do that.
Awesome. Hey, that's what we want from the write-ins today, to get people going. And it looks like Jordan did 168 words, which is great.
Woo!
Yay. And feel free to tell us, did you use a puppy? Did you use another animal? Were you able to use an animal in your prompt? We'd love to know. Okay. And feel free to comment that anytime, Jordan, but we only have about 7 minutes left. So Logan, do you think we have time for one more writing prompt?
Yeah, I am totally happy to do another one. Wow, the time completely flew
I know,
by.
we've had fun.
Oh, awesome. Congrats, Words Fall. They were not able to do the prompt, but they hit 5K today. Woo! That's awesome. That's a huge milestone.
That is awesome. Way to go.
Congrats. All right, I think so. This is our next prompt that's a little bit more abstract or straightforward, depending on how you want to do this. So use as many of these words as possible in your writing. Be, ancestor, sink, escape, and button. So I think some of these you could do more imagery. It doesn't have to be all literal, but some people are better at doing more literal stuff. I do not have that gift. I tend to think more in like similes and metaphors, so I think I'll incorporate some of these words that way.
There you go. And you don't have to do all of them, just as many as you can in your writing.
So before we go, Jordan said that they didn't have an animal. but maybe they'll find a way to incorporate it a bit later. All right, great.
No.
All right, so our next prompt, if you want to kind of jot these down somewhere, in fact, I'm going to do that because I will probably forget. All right, so the words are be, oh, if it'll let me write this down, come on now. Okay, I'll just do it in my document. We've got be, ancestor, sink, scape, and button.
Yep. And I think the person who's very nicely running this stream program for us today will bring them up throughout the timer as well if you need to refer back to them on the screen. Okay, 7 minutes for our very last prompt for today's write-in. We'll see everybody in a bit.
Good luck.
Okay, everyone, welcome back from our final word writing prompt. We're excited to see how many of the words you were able to use in your writing.
I used, let's see, I used 4.
Okay, that's a lot. 4 out
Yeah.
of 5. There you go. What words were you able to use?
I was able to use be, ancestor, sink, and escape, but not button.
Oh, okay. Very nice. And everybody else, feel free to tell us in the comments which of the words were you able to use? What was your overall word count? I'm not writing a story since I'm just doing flash fiction with all the prompts. I used all the words, but I have an unfair advantage. I get to look at the words and then go, oh, what story can I craft around the words? So I was kind of thinking of like some kind of I craft around the words. Kind of, I'm so sorry. I had my the Facebook that I have up to see your comments unmuted itself. um but yeah, I kind of was thinking like some kind of either vessel like spacecraft or something, or some kind of submarine or boat that's sinking and they have to use the escape pods and push the button to get out, and it's kind of where my brain went with all of those. I liked your idea to use some of them as a simile, because I had to think how to use be, maybe not actually have a bee in this story but think how to use that.
Yeah. And yeah, again, like I think this just goes back to how challenging but also creative like these different sprints are.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I think we still have Word 12 Rights didn't get anything, but they were on their PC. That's okay. Getting on your computer to write, that's fine. Yeah.
You can always play this back and try out the different sprints that we did before you joined on your own. Nothing wrong with that. Leave a comment of like what you wrote, if there's anything that was like really fun or came out really well. We'd love to read them.
Absolutely, we do. And I think this is the most YouTube comments we've gotten too. So thank y'all for participating on YouTube, and make sure to tell your friends, especially your NaNoWriMo group, your NaNoWriMo friends. We're always here during NaNoWriMo month. We'll have more fun programs coming up and we'll tell you about them.
Yeah, actually on Thursday we will have a featured author, 2 featured authors actually, who will be talking about how to write combat in your story. So if that's something you want to incorporate or you would like to incorporate in a future story, you should totally check us out on Thursday at 4:00. And I think on our next slide we have some more information about that. While we're transitioning, Jordan said, I got another 140 words. Thanks for the sprints. Thanks for joining us, Jordan. Super happy you were able to come and enjoy your time writing. So we will have Whit McClendon from 4 to 5 this Thursday, and he is a author who recently completed, actually I don't know how recently it was, but he has completed a 3-volume series and is currently working on, I believe, a 5-volume series focusing on fantasy. And I actually did an interview with him that should be going up this week about his writing experience as well as his experience participating in NaNoWriMo.
And I think he's a martial artist too, right? So his combat is very founded in good research and life experience.
Yes. So if you want some awesome intel and insight, do check back in with us this Thursday.
Yeah. And thank you all for joining us. We had a ton of fun. We really appreciate you coming out and writing with us.
Yeah. Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye.